Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about all of the major issues with the Black Ops Cold War Zombies perk system, specifically in terms of the upgrade system and how it should have been, or at least what they should do for the future zombie titles. And yes, I know, if you don't watch a lot of my videos, you might genuinely think that I despise this game because of how much I complain about it, but honestly, the reason I think it's so important to give a lot of criticism specifically for this game is because this game changed the zombies formula in such a massive way and could completely decide what the future of zombies will be like. And so many people were very satisfied with a lot about Cold War Zombies. And although I'm very happy for those people, I do think there's a lot of systems that just don't work. And I do think alternatives to these systems could not only make the fans happier, but also just for myself, of course. So first things first, I want to just go over what the actual perk system was like in Cold War Zombies, so maybe those of you who haven't ever played Cold War Zombies can fully understand it. So essentially, it's very similar to any other perk system where you just go up to the perk and buy it, of course, you drink it, and there you go, you have the perk. It's similar to any other Call of Duty Zombies experience, of course. But this game is a little bit different because there's no perk limit, which was the first time in Call of Duty history where there was no perk limit by default. Obviously, the other COD Zombies games, there's ways to get more than 4 perks or more than perks past the perk limit, whatever the perk limit was of that game. But there was 0 perk limit in this game, so you can buy as many as you want. There was even a Wonder Fizz machine, which let you just directly buy the perks straight from it, no matter where you were on the map. If the Wonder Fizz was there, you didn't even have to go to the actual physical machines themselves, so you can just buy it from that Wonder Fizz. And also the prices of these perks went up as you purchase them, which is also a very different system as well because we didn't see that previously. But the biggest innovation about the system was, of course, the perk upgrade tiers, which was a completely new system where you can actually upgrade the perks permanently through the menus of the game. And you actually do this like out of the game. You're not doing it in the game itself. And you're able to unlock these upgrade tiers with Ethereum crystals that you earn in game. And there's a bunch of other things you can also upgrade within the menus with the Ethereum crystals that you earn in the game. There's really no like specific ways to earn them. You just kind of play the game and you exfil or do an Easter egg, and then you just get rewarded with Ethereum crystals. That was basically it. But you use those to upgrade them, and that was pretty much the system. Once you upgrade them, they are permanently upgraded for the player. So whenever you buy that perk in the game, it will immediately have all of the upgrades that you had from the menus in that game all the time. That's just how it works. And I'm here to tell you that I do not like this system. In fact, I think it is a pretty bad system, but there are some positives to it. So let me first go over the few positives of this system. Whenever you're criticizing something, it's always a great idea to go over the counterpoints as well. So first of all, I do think a really good thing about the system is this is the first time we ever had like an official perk upgrade system. Of course, Black Ops 4 did have the perk modifiers, which one of your perks in your perk loadout would be an upgraded version of that perk, but you couldn't upgrade all of them. So it wasn't like an official perk upgrade system. We also had perma perks back in Black Ops 2, and then we had the God masks, as well as some other things that you can put on your player in Black Ops 3 that would kind of give you like upgraded perks, but again, they weren't really, it wasn't an official perk upgrade system where you could actually upgrade all of your perks. So this is the first time we had that. So for that, I give it a thumbs up. At least it's the first time we saw it. And it did give the player something to grind for. Of course, there's tons of other things in the game to grind for already. I mean, most of the Zombies games have things to grind for. Black Ops 4 has a ton of things to grind for. So does World War II, Infinite Warfare, even Black Ops 3. There's things to grind for in most of the recent Zombies games. But this was just an extra thing, and in general, of course, I could see that as a positive. But that's where the positives drop off completely, and I can honestly give counterpoints to both of those things I just said there. So first of all, with the grind thing, of course, having a grind is cool. But the problem with this perk upgrade system is that it's an insanely fast grind, and it's also a grind that ends. So a grind that doesn't end would be like Black Ops 3's Gobblegums system. Now, of course, I know there's an exploit to make it so you never lose your Gobblegums, but that's obviously not an intentional game choice. Let's say that that exploit didn't exist, then Gobblegums would technically be a limitless grind because you can just continuously play the game to earn more Gobblegums, and when you use the Gobblegums, they go away, so you have to keep playing to earn more. So that is a limitless grind that never ends. But when you have a system like this where you can upgrade the perks permanently, and it doesn't take that long to do it, to be honest, it's not, a limitless grind. There is a limit there where once you do it, you're done, and you're forever done upgrading your perks till the end of time. And in theory, I don't think a limited grind like that is a bad thing as long as it lasts for a while. Like, let's say maybe like half of the life cycle of that game or something like that. But for me personally, I was able to max the tiers for all of the perks within maybe a few days of Cold War releasing. Now, of course, I know I play zombies more than the average person, but still, it should not take me a few days to completely finish a grind, like a big portion of the grind in the game, just, be done with it. Like, it's a permanent thing that always is going to be on my player now, just after like 4 or 5 days. And then of course they added the tier 4 and tier 5 later on in the life cycle. And again, I completed those within maybe a week, maybe less than a week. So it's not really like a grind that lasts that long. So when people talk about it being this awesome grind, it really never was to me, because it was very quick to do. And then you were just kind of done. Like, yes, there was the other things you can upgrade as well, but those things were not really nearly as interesting as the perk upgrades. So specifically talking about the perks, I just kind of did those as soon as I could. And yeah, it was really fast. And it's not really like a fun grind either, because you're not specifically working towards anything. You're just kind of playing, and then you just happen to get Ethereum crystals. You don't even know how you really earn them. And then you use them in the perks, and that's pretty much it. And because of it, the tiers to the perks don't really have much personality to them. And what I mean by that is, like, you don't really remember what a specific version of each perk feels like. Like, I bet the majority of you, without looking it up, can probably not tell me what most of the different tiers to the perks actually did. You can probably tell me what the perks do, but do you remember like which specific tiers did that for the perk? I can remember maybe the tier 5 ones, because those ones were kind of the ones that stood out the most. Like, I know Elemental Pop gave you the electric cherry ability with the tier 5, and that stands out because it's literally another perk basically within it. So of course it's going to stand out a little bit more, but like everything else, it's like I don't really know the specifics, because I upgraded them so quickly to the point where I didn't really even think about it. Like, I didn't have that, long period of time where I was spending time with like one version of the perk. Maybe I was, using tier 2 of Jug for a while. So that was something I remembered, how tier 2 felt compared to tier 4 or tier 5. There really is no difference, because you just kind of do it. Obviously there is a difference in how the usefulness of them are, but you don't really think about it because you do it so quickly. You upgrade them so quickly. And to me, that's the exciting thing about upgrades in a game, is getting to see the difference between the different versions when you're upgrading something. And if you don't really feel those different versions for a long enough time, then how is it really an upgrade system? Because you have Jug and you just kind of upgrade it within like one game of playing, and then now the rest of the time you play, it's now upgraded. That's kind of just weird. Like, I played maybe 2 games of Cold War Zombies with tier 1 Jug. And then ever since then, it's been a much better version of Jug, and I've probably played over 1,000 games since then. That's just a weird idea to me. Like, think of any other game that does that. I physically can't think of any other game that does that. And this helps bring me to my next point, and I think it's just about the idea of them being permanent is what hurts the system so much, because there's no way to use the worst versions of the perks. Now, maybe they could have added some system where you can like switch between the tiers. So maybe if I want to challenge myself, I can play a game with just the tier 1 version of the perks. Maybe like speedrunners can have a separate speedrun category with just the unupgraded versions of the perks, something like that, just to give yourself more of a challenge. Because honestly, using these perks in their tier 5 form, you feel like the most powerful person known to man. And that honestly wouldn't be a problem if Cold War Zombies was a harder game to begin with, but the default mechanics and zombies of Cold War are so easy already. So when you add OP perks on top of that are really easy to get and don't really feel rewarding to earn, because like I said, the grind is so quick, you get them so soon, and then now you just have these incredibly OP perks. All you have to do is just buy them. That's all you have to do, which usually takes maybe 10 to 15 to 20 rounds at most. I'm sure you can get all the perks in the game by round 20 if you're a decent player and you know how to spend your points properly. You can probably do that. And so then you have these incredibly OP perks for the rest of the game. It's like impossible to go down at that point, and that's not fun to me. It just fundamentally goes against the whole purpose of zombies. The whole purpose of zombies is you're supposed to start with less and earn your way up. And actually back in the day, it was you basically started with nothing. You started with a pistol, you started with some grenades and 500 points. And that was it. And obviously as time went on, they started adding little, things that you can have to start with. And I'm fine with most of that, like Gobblegums, whatever. Like, sure, you don't have to use Gobblegums, you could, whatever. But these permanent things, you're unlocking them permanently. Do you want me to just play the game and just never even utilize that system? No, of course, I want to utilize it here and there, but I don't want to use it for every single game going forward. And obviously, I want to be able to buy the perks, but if you can't use the worst version of the perks, then you're kind of just shit out of luck. There are plenty of games out there that have similar systems where you're upgrading stuff. Like, think of like Dying Light, for example. And I mean, this is, you can probably give this example for a million games out there, but think of any game with a skill tree. I just thought of Dying Light because it's the one that I really love that game, so why not? You have a skill tree there, right? You have a bunch of things you can actually upgrade as you're playing the game, and those are permanent unlocks. Obviously, if you restart your entire game, that's different, but those unlocks are permanent to the player, and you can just, keep getting them as the game goes along, but you slowly earn them. You don't earn the last one until the end of the game pretty much. I mean, it depends how quickly you're going through it, but you could earn them closer to the end of the game, or maybe you won't even finish all the skill tiers by the time you finish the game. That's entirely possible, but you could at least, take your time with it or whatever. But you're earning them as the game is progressively getting harder and harder and harder. So there's a balance there. There's an organic balance. But Zombies isn't like that. Zombies restarts its difficulty every time you load up a new match, and you load up a new match pretty much every other day. I mean, I could play like 4 games of Zombies in one day, whereas if I play through a whole entire game of Dying Light, like the entire campaign, that'll take a good like 8 or 10 hours. I won't be doing that in one sitting. I'll probably be doing that over the course of a couple days. But think of how Zombies has always worked. You have these, things like Pack-a-Punch Machine. You can really feel the difference between having an unupgraded gun and then finally getting the upgraded gun. Once the rounds are starting to get harder, you're like, oh no, I don't think I can get past round 20 without an upgraded gun. So you really feel like I need to Pack-a-Punch my weapon. You need to buy perks. You need to get, your wonder weapons. You need to, let's say you're in Black Ops 4, you need to get your specialist weapon tiered up all the way to tier 3. And guess what? It restarts when you restart a new game. Like all these things reset because it's the natural progression of Zombies. It's how it should be. And these permanent unlocks, specifically with the perks, are not like that. Of course, you still have to buy the perks, but like I said, it's not that hard to buy the perks. You can just go up and buy them. It takes 2 seconds, and you can have a really OP setup with just even 4 or 5 perks. Even that's all you really need in Cold War, and you're going to be completely OP. And you can do that by like round 10. And it wasn't something that you did a lot to accomplish. You didn't, beat all the Easter eggs and then, get a director's cut mode like you do in Infinite Warfare. You didn't do anything that really warrants having such an OP setup. I love having OP things in Zombies. I want OP things in Zombies, but make me work for it. Make me earn it. And look, I know there's a lot of people out there who like to say that they just want Zombies to be something where you just jump in and just kill zombies and don't have to worry about, getting a bunch of stuff. So you'd rather have this perk upgrade system because you don't have to worry about an extra thing in the game. And to that I say, like, Zombies has really never been like that. Like, I can't think of a time where Zombies was so just jump in and get everything right away. It's always been something where you have to work towards it at least a little bit. Even in Cold War, you're still working towards stuff in other avenues. Like, for example, your Pack-a-Punching. You still have to take a long time before you can get tier 3 Pack-a-Punch. That's not an easy thing to get in Cold War, which is good. I'm glad they have that system there, but why can't perks be like that too? So as any decent video that is criticizing something should do, I'm going to be offering an alternative to a perk upgrade system that they should do in the future games, and that honestly could have worked in Cold War in some senses. I'm just going to get Vanguard out of the way here and just say that that is not the system I'm going to be using as an alternative, because I do not think Vanguard's perk upgrade system was any good. Do I think it's better than Cold War's system? In some senses, sure, but not in terms of like how it was executed fully, because the problem with Vanguard's system is that although I did like it being in-game, obviously that's a good thing, I don't like the fact that you have to continuously go back to the perk machine every single time you wanted to upgrade it, and it would cost a lot of money as well. I don't really think that whole system was that beneficial to the player. It just kind of got repetitive, and honestly, the differences between the perk upgrade tiers did not feel major enough to warrant forcing the player to go back and forth to the machine to just keep rebuying it. I do not think that was the good system. I do not think that's the only alternative possible for a perk upgrade system. And to me, it's really frustrating that so many people think that in-game perk upgrade systems can't work just because Vanguard's wasn't good. There's so many ways you can do it. Honestly, my one idea here is not even going to be the only idea possible, but I'm going to offer it anyways because I do think it is a pretty good idea. So my solution is pretty simple. Just like any other perk system, you go up to the perk, you buy it, and boom, you're good, right? You have the tier 1 version of the perk though. That's all you have. You do not have all the upgrades that are in the menus. No, that is not there. It is all in game. So what do? How do you upgrade the perk? Well, you do a simple in-game challenge. Now the challenge is going to be the exact same for every single perk every time you play. So once you know it, once you learn it, you don't have to keep trying to memorize it. And if you forget it, you can go up to the perk machine after you buy it, and it'll literally show you like some sort of in-game look at what the actual challenge is, and it'll even show your progress of it. So you know exactly what to do every single time. You don't have to worry about that. And it will be something that relates to the perk. Just as a few examples, PhD Flopper would be getting X amount of kills with explosives, and those explosives would also include your explosive dives. So you don't even have to buy an explosive weapon. You can just keep diving into the zombies, and that'll count as explosive kills. For Deadshot, it would be headshots. Get X amount of kills, with headshots. There could also be ones for Juggernog, which could be maybe getting X amount of kills without being hit by a zombie, because obviously, Juggernog has to do with damage, so why not make it a, damage-based challenge where you just don't take damage, and that's how you do it. So if any of these, challenges have anything in common, it's simply that it's things that you would do regardless of even trying to do it in the first place. Like, these are things that would just naturally happen while you're playing the game. I'm assuming if you have PhD, you're probably going to use it a little bit. I'm assuming if you have Deadshot, you're probably going to be getting a lot of headshots and not getting hit by zombies. That can happen. These things are natural things that could happen while just playing the game. So it's not forcing the player to go out of their way and do some, separate challenge. Although personally, I honestly wouldn't mind having like side quests for each perk upgrade. I'm a big fan of side quests. I think having more things to do on a zombie map is a good thing, but I know a lot of people aren't for that. And I do think this should be maybe like a simpler system, just so, more casual players could be able to upgrade all their perks without having to worry about all the different side quests and such. So I'm honestly offering a compromise here. It's not just what I think would be best for me. I'm also thinking what would be best for everyone, but it gives them something to do as well. So even if it's not, that tedious, it's still something to do. It's just something that they can now work on it. They can kill zombies within that specific challenge. And it would naturally happen over time, most likely. And it would take enough time to the point where you're not going to have these overpowered perks at round 10 or round 5, even if you get your perks that early. You're going to have to wait a little bit. It might take till round 15, round 20, round 25. It might take some time depending on, obviously, when you buy that perk and when you do the challenge. And maybe there's 3, 4, 5 tiers, whatever, and it's just the exact same challenge. It's just each time you have to get another amount of kills. Maybe, it's 50 kills with headshots for the first tier upgrade, but then the next one's maybe 75, and then it goes to 100, and then just goes up and up and up like that. So if you want to use the tier 5 version of the perks, you might have to wait till like round 30 or 35, depending on how quick you are with it. And to me, that's fair. That's how it should be. You should not be able to have insanely overpowered perks by round 15. That is why Cold War is so damn easy. One of the reasons it's so easy. Obviously, it's pretty easy by default, like I said before, but this is one of the reasons that it's even easier. And I think it would at least add an additional challenge and just an additional layer of progression to the game if it was something you earned in-game every time you play. And players might still really want that permanent upgrade system there. So what could they do to give those players something? Well, give us ways to do that, but make it a really difficult thing to accomplish. Maybe perhaps completing all the Easter eggs. So by the time the last map comes out for the game, let's say this is for COD 2024, after you complete that last map's Easter egg and you've completed all the other ones, you get rewarded a mode just like Director's Cut mode. And you know what this mode does? It lets you have all of the perks permanently upgraded right from the start. And it gives you other rewards as well, just like Director's Cut did. But it's a separate mode that you don't have to play, but you could play if you'd like to. And it's a whole separate option, whatever you want. Like, you don't have to do it, but you can if you want, that sort of thing. And now that is a way to actually earn those permanent perk upgrades. So now every time you play, you don't have to do those challenges to earn them. That's how it should be. It should be something rewarding, something that makes you feel like, wow, I really earned this. I really accomplished something to get here. Nobody accomplished anything to tier upgrade all of the perks in Cold War. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. You didn't accomplish shit. You didn't do anything, right? You played a video game. That's all you did. You played maybe 5 hours of a video game. That's not much. I'll be honest, it's not much. And for those players who really want some sort of a limitless grind like I was talking about before, here's a great idea for a limitless grind. Gobblegums. Bring Gobblegums back. It's already been rumored to be coming back in COD 2024, so they should bring them back. Now, not like how they did in Black Ops 3 though, because Black Ops 3s were very RNG centric and they were almost like loot boxes in a sense, and we don't want loot boxes back, let's be real here. So how should they bring Gobblegums back? Well, to me, it's a very simple solution. Literally just have some sort of Dr. Monty's Gobblegum shop and let players directly purchase what Gobblegum they want. Not with COD points, no, not with COD points, but with an in-game currency that you earn by playing the game, just like Ethereum crystals. You can literally do the exact same thing. Ethereum crystals have that exact same currency return, have it so you can earn it from playing the game, or maybe earn it through different contracts, different challenges, whatever it may be, and you can use those to directly purchase specific Gobblegums that you want. So let's say you want a double points Gobblegum, one that lets you spawn in a double points drop. It'll maybe cost you 3 or 4 Ethereum crystal. I have no idea what the currency would be like, but this is just a random example. Let's say it's like 4 Ethereum crystal. So you want to buy just one, it's 4. That's it. You have one now. If you want to buy a second one, it's going to cost you 8. You want to buy 3, it's going to cost you 12. And because when you use that Gobblegum, it goes away after using it, and there's no exploits in this game. There's not, you're not gonna be able to leave your game to save your Gobblegums. So essentially, when you use it, you're done. But guess what? You can just go play more and buy another one. So it's not like relying on RNG like in Black Ops 3, and it's also not some sort of grind that ends. It's a grind that goes on forever. You can keep playing to grind as many Ethereum crystals as you want, so then you can keep buying Gobblegums in the shop to have a whole stack of them, and you actually earn those. You did something for those, but they're not permanent. Maybe a Gobblegum could also be like Perkaholic, like we can bring that back, and maybe this version of Perkaholic can give you the tier 5 perks, but it costs like 100 Ethereum crystals, so you really have to work for this like ultra Perkaholic version. There can maybe be another Perkaholic that just gives you the tier 1 perks, but so you still have to, do the actual challenges to get them. But we can also have this other version of Perkaholic that's a lot more expensive, but it'll give you all the perks right away, tier 5. So if you want to jump into an Easter egg right away with all tier 5 perks, boom, you get it. And you actually worked for that. You did something for it, and you spent a lot of your crystals on it. That would be so much more rewarding, so much more interesting, and would actually get players to grind the living hell out of zombies, and I think that would be incredible. Of course, they could also throw some of these Gobblegums in the battle pass, or maybe like as bonuses to some of the bundles. I'm not really against that. I know a lot of people would claim it's pay to win and such, but I think it's important that Activision knows that there's a lot of revenue coming in specifically from zombies, because of course, bundles, that can be from zombies, multiplayer, Warzone, or whatever, but if they see a lot of revenue coming specifically from zombies, they're more likely to put a higher budget into future maps and experiences for zombies, which is good for the fans. We want zombies to make more money. So I will take it being, quote unquote pay to win, as long as we're actually getting a lot more, good quality content in the future. So that is my idea for a perk upgrade system in a future zombies game. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And one of the biggest parts of this perk upgrade system is make sure even the tier 1 version of the perk is still really good. Don't nerf them for the tier 1 version just so you encourage players to try to get like the regular version once you get to like tier 3 or 4. No, just make it already a pretty damn good perk, just like they were in Black Ops 3 by default at tier 1, and then the extra ones are even better. That would be a lot more interesting, and I think would just make it even more rewarding when you earn them in game. But this system to me would blow me away. I really want this word to get out to Treyarch, because even though they're already working on their game, I think this would not only make players happier without even them realizing it. I think even people who say they loved Cold War's system, I feel like if this was actually implemented, they would probably like it, assuming it was implemented correctly. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear any opposing thoughts. I would love to, debate it. And if you agree with me, let me know that as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.